What's up, Fantasy Alarm Nation? Andrew Cooper here today with the video that everyone loves to hate. It's the top five busts for 2024. And let me get us started off right here with a spicy one. Tank Dell, everyone's favorite 2023 breakout darling. He burst on the scene, made a bunch of big explosive plays, and he probably will have explosive plays again at times this year, which is nice in your best ball league. But the problem is that last year he was an every down player, and I don't think he's going to be this year. This offense is the same one that the 49ers and the Dolphins use. It utilizes a fullback, it utilizes a blocking tight end. When that happens, one of the wide receivers has to come out of the game. And that's especially true for jumbo sets and goal line when it's sometimes one or two wide receivers on the field at most. Are you taking out the 6'4 split end Nico Collins? I don't think so. Are you taking out the diva wide receiver that you just traded for, Stephon Diggs? Probably not. It's probably going to be the smallest wide receiver on the team, the 165-pound Tank Dell coming out of games. This was also a guy that broke his leg in one of these situations last year, and everyone was so upset about why he was in there. Well, guess what? This year he might not be in there. And if that's the case, he's probably not worth his ADP. Number two on the list, Mr. Jake Ferguson. Now, Jake Ferguson is about as safe as you can get, right? If you're looking for the tight end nine in rankings that'll most likely finish as a tight end nine, then great. But in a 10 or 12 team league, if you have the tight end nine, what that means is you have one of the worst tight ends in your league, right? And this guy running a 4.840 is on the way slower end for tight ends. A guy like Zach Ertz is fairly slow. He only had one 1,000-yard season in his career, despite being peppered with targets, and he needed 156 targets that year to do it, right? At 4.8, guys over the last 7 years, there hasn't been one player in that speed range at tight end that has more than two 40-plus yard plays. George Kittle over that span has 16 of them. He has multiple 70-yard plays. That's why guys like Kyle Pitts and George Kittle can have over 1,000 yards on 60 receptions, where last year Jake Ferguson had 71 receptions for only 760 yards. It's a low upside play. It's not a play that I'm making. Number three on the list, another absolute league winning breakout star from last year, Kyren Williams. Now, Kyren Williams could hold down the job. It could be a good situation for him, at which point he would be worth where he's going, right? He's being drafted around what his ceiling is in the second round. The problem here is that we've seen this game before. A late round RB comes onto the scene, he gets into a good situation, and then the team turns around and says, wow, that was really good. Why don't we draft another running back? And then we'll have two good backs. Or maybe the back we draft will be just as good, if not better, than the one we have. We saw it with Tyler Algier, who was excellent, and then they drafted a better back. We saw it with Damian Pierce, who was winning the Angry Run Award and all these things, was replaced. James Robinson, Michael Carter, Philip Lindsay, all these guys, cracking 1,000-yard seasons. Maybe not Michael Carter, but the other guys. I mean, it could easily be a situation where they bring in Blake Corum, a guy that had 58 rushing touchdowns in college, and now it's a split, and now he's not worth his ADP. I'm being very cautious with Kyren Williams, considering the guys around him are pretty much locked into their jobs. Here's another one that people aren't going to like to hear, but it's a little dose of reality. That's Josh Allen, right? And I have no doubt that Josh Allen will be somewhere in the QB1 range, I believe, right? He's a good player, but you have to remember, he lost his number one target, his binky, number one with a bullet by far. This guy was averaging over 150 targets per year. He was also averaging around 70 first downs a year. That's a lot of first downs that need to be picked up, right? And you need to get those first downs. You need to get the goal line to take advantage of that rushing upside. They're probably not going to get there as much. They also have Ray Davis that can do it. Not to mention, if Josh Allen at 28 years old has over 100 carries, he'll be the first guy to do that since Cam Newton and Michael Vick. It rarely happens at 28. And the last guy on our list, Cole Kmet. This is a player that in a 20-round draft, I wouldn't be drafting in the 20th round. Shane Waldron notoriously rotates the tight ends. He's never had a tight end uh, run more than 75% of the snaps in a season going back to 2017 when he was the tight end coach of the Rams. And that year, they drafted a tight end named Gerald Everett, and he brought Gerald Everett with him to the Seahawks. And now he's brought Gerald Everett with him to the Bears. Gerald Everett does not block. He will be rotating in, and it doesn't even matter because they have three amazing wide receivers in Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze. Take Cole Kmet off your board. Maybe take all five of these guys off your board. Those are the top five busts for 2024.